Well. The brackets have been revealed. We know who's in. We know who's out. Did some teams get left out? Did the committee put teams in the wrong spots? We'll talk about it all. It's time to break down March Madness. Let's go.
Sound like some Viking music, don't it?
Yeah, gotta get it out the mud, that's the only way to win. Who am I to point the finger like I never ever seen? Been through the ups and downs like the letter N. They don't let you through the door, better kick that again. Cause that's the only way to win. That's the only way to go. Gotta get it out the mud, gotta get it out the flow. Cause that's the only way to go, let's go.
See, lights out. Now, before I even get started on what's going on today, this joker right here, you see this joker right here? He already taking shots. And he just got in.
Why in the world you calling me Joker? And what shots are you talking about?
See, those of you who don't see, because he knows after this show, I got another show to do. So he wants to go ahead and try to take his shots in with me right now instead of waiting for another 2 hours.
I mean, I didn't mention Jade Cargill, Caden Carter, Bailey, Naomi. I didn't mention any of those people.
Man, we supposed to be talking basketball. Looking at a background of cakes, okay?
Yes. And that was strictly for you.
I know it was. Lucky enough I was already playing the intro. I couldn't even say nothing. I couldn't say a word. I'm like, the intro playing, I can't even say that because if I said something, he ain't going to hear me anyway. See? It ain't even 5 minutes in, he already got me going off about some goddamn things, man. I already got 2 hours to deal with that.
Well, it was up, cool. That was a dedication to Cool. You know, he and I, we love this. Well, you two, we love to sample from the same pool of cakes. And shout out to you, Wise. You know we like to sample from the same pool of cakes too. Yeah.
Anyway, I gotta deal with that in 2 hours. And by the way, we gonna have ourselves a special guest on tonight's show. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean you'll be with him tomorrow.
Yes,
having a blast.
I think you all really love his wrestling knowledge, and that's how we got to actually get to know one another.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what it is. If you've seen the background, you've seen the thumbnail of the show. You already know what it is. You already know. It's that time.
March Madness has begun.
It is
Officially.
that time, man. And
Oh, yeah.
I got something that I got a great with. Cole Johnson got something he has a great with. But we'll
It's all
get through that
coming.
through that time. We'll get to that. But
It's all
first and
coming.
foremost, let's just go through the practice again. Make sure everybody understands who's in
Mm-hmm.
as of right now. So we're gonna begin with the men's first. All
Okay.
right, as we begin with the men's, UConn the number one overall seed because they literally the only team that was the one seed going in that actually did their job.
Right. That's correct. The only one.
So they the
The
overall
ev-
number one.
every other number one seeded team or seeded possibility decided to take L's in the conference tournaments.
Don't worry, Cole Johnson gonna get to one of those in a minute once I get done with this East region. So we in the East region, UConn the overall number one seed. They'll be seeing Stetson Hatters. Congratulations. And you got FAU and Northwestern to do battle. The
Oh
5-12
no,
is
that's
San
what
Diego.
UConn's gonna do before they go to Boston for the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight. My bad.
The 5-12 is San Diego State and UAB. The 4-13 Auburn and Yale. 6-11 BYU and Duquesne. 3-14 Illinois
Du-
Morehead
Du-
State.
Duke's Kane, really? You're gonna disrespect that college name like that?
I did.
It's Duquesne, brother.
Duquesne.
Duquesne.
I should have known that from hearing Tone this whole time. My bad. Duquesne. I forgot the S is silent.
Mm-hmm.
Duquesne. 17 Washington State and Drake. And the 12 and the 2-15 Iowa State and South Dakota State. Now, that is the East region. The South region, and I'm gonna go ahead and say who the number one team is, and I'm gonna get out the way because somebody got something he needs to say. The number one team in the South region is the Houston Cougars.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Now, this is what you need to do, Cougars. You were fortunate. You were very fortunate that the team that mollywopped you in your Big 12 championship tournament game is not in your region. Now, you see, if I was a committee member there, you know what I would have done? I would have put you number one, but I would have put Ohio State number two because I would want to, and I would want to make it as light of a journey for both teams as possible because I would want you to face up against Iowa State in the Elite Eight and see if you can actually climb that hurdle or get blown away yet again by the Cyclones. You all should be ashamed of yourselves. You were ranked number one in the country. I can understand if you took an L. You got mollywopped by the Cyclones. Really? Really? And what happened to the offense? It just disappeared. Come on now. You got to do better than that. Now, hopefully in this region, and you got a reprieve, hopefully you in this region, you will coast through and you get to the Final Four. But if I were the committee, I would have made Ohio State number two. I would have made Iowa State number two in the region. I would have made them number two in the South, so you would have the chance to face them in the Elite Eight.
And speaking of that region, they'll be facing Longwood. Shouldn't be a problem, in my opinion. But here's the tricky part: Nebraska the 8, Texas A&M the 9.
Yeah, they'll get it. Yeah, Houston will get a good test in the in the round of 32. Either team, it doesn't matter if it's A&M or Nebraska. They'll give them a good test. They should advance, but they'll get a good test in round 32.
An interesting 5-12 matchup is the Wisconsin Badgers and the James Madison Dukes. And speaking of Duke, they're the 4th seed and they get Vermont.
I'm sorry about that.
That did not mean for you to do that, okay?
Duke.
6-11, Texas, 6-11, Texas Tech and NC State.
I was just singing a song, man. Jeez.
I want y'all to mark NC State, okay? Because I'm gonna explain why later, but whatever mark you want to put a mark by NC State. Okay?
Oh, I'm smelling dark horse.
No, I'll explain later.
Mm-hmm.
3-14 Kentucky and Oakland. Maybe this may be the game Kentucky might confine themselves. Just throwing that out there.
What team shows up? I want them to be in the Elite Eight, but what team will show up? That's the only question I got with Kentucky.
I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing it out there. 17. The 7 seeds, the Florida Gators.
The team that my partner, my on-air partner at the moment, 2 weeks prior, doubted they would even get to this portion.
I did not doubt it. We went through this in the chat. I'm not going to go through this on air.
I really want to play That Was a Lie so bad right now.
I bet you do. You don't even have a clip that says I doubted them making a tournament. That's how I know.
You said it outside. You said that on recording, not necessarily those words, but outside recording, you said that to me. So I don't know why you were chastised.
I said on air. I said I didn't want them in the tournament at the time.
You chastised me. You're like, why are you camping up for my team? I mean, how dare you? They go to Kentucky, they whoop up on them, and then they take an L when they shouldn't take an L. I'm like,
Texas A&M anybody?
I can't help if the team goes up and down because that Texas A&M L, and this was off air. That Texas A&M L, you was like, man, they don't even deserve to be in the tournament. I'm like, they're gonna get there.
See, I said they don't deserve to be in the tournament. I didn't say they weren't gonna make the tournament. There's a difference.
And when you said if they keep going, they won't make it, and then they take an L in Nashville to Vanderbilt.
Well, that's after they smacked Auburn and they smacked Alabama the second go around.
Yeah, see? And then they got a chance to smack Alabama again. See, that's what I'm saying. Beautiful. It's beautiful how it all worked out. So congratulations to your Gators.
Your mentality partner is in the chat. What's up, Wise?
Wise El Jefe in the house. My main man. What's up, brother? Glad to see you, man.
I will say this. Prayers go out to my man, Michael. That was not pleasant to see a structure.
Man.
It was not pleasant.
Man, I can throw all the jokes I can at you about Florida. I saw that, my heart went out to you, to that young man's family, and to Florida. That was horrendous, man. I was like, oh man, they don't deserve that. He don't deserve that.
You know it's bad when they didn't even show no replay.
No, that was bad.
And you know they usually show replays of what happened, and they ain't show no replay at all.
That was bad. It was really bad. Yeah.
They went to commercial break. They came back. Still didn't show no replay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, because I saw the final score of the game, because I didn't catch the game. I just caught the final score. I was like, Auburn seemed to have their way with Florida, and then I saw that play. I was like, oh, that explains it.
I would say this. Even after that, we cut the lead down to 1, and then we went back to having the problems that we had before we cut back down to 1. And Auburn said, "No, we're not. No, y'all not coming back in here." So basically, we can say we're even now because Auburn paid us back from NCAA regular season.
Yeah.
When we smacked them in Gainesville.
We smacked them in Gainesville, right?
And everybody was shocked because at that time nobody thought Auburn could get beat, let alone beat like that.
Yeah. And they bounced back. They had a really good tournament. Shout out to you, Bruce Pearl.
Shout out to Bruce Pearl and Auburn. But yes, my Gators are in it. We'll get the winner between Boise State and Colorado.
Do you think this is punishment of the NCAA toward Colorado for hiring Dion? They actually were in the Pac-12 championship game, and they actually had to go into a play-in.
You just want to prove my point where they did Florida no favors. And just in case we do get past them, the number 2 team in the country is Marquette.
And they looked pretty darn good.
But it's question mark because they don't have their point guard. They don't have their point guard.
They are beatable, but they look pretty darn good.
They'll get the hilltoppers of Western Kentucky.
That's around these parts, or about maybe an hour north of here.
So that's the East and South region. Let's go to the Midwest and the West regions. Starting the Midwest, number 1, Purdue. Save it. I already know where you're going because I had everybody save it for now. Save it for now. I know where you're going. I will give you your opportunity.
Drew, what's up, my man? Oh yeah. Before I continue, Total Football Talk tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central. You know we're gonna break down the NFL and we're gonna touch a little on the UFL. That's how it's gonna go down. Total Football Talk,
Hey,
the Saratoga Media,
Sensei,
and the Cohen Media YouTube channels.
we're gonna get to that later on because
Tuesday morning,
I
9
set it
a.m.
up to a point
Central.
where we can get to that later on. I know where you feel it because I'm with you. We're gonna get to that later on. Oh, trust me, we're gonna get to that later on. Oh, Snowman's in the building.
Yes, what's up, Snowman? Good to man. I saw your brackets earlier today. I likes it, bro. I likes it.
Snowman's in the building, so there we go.
All right, so you mentioned that Purdue is the number
Purdue
one
would get the winner
Midwest
between,
seed. Mm-hmm.
Purdue would get the winner between Montana State, Grambling State.
Before you continue, why does it? Well, I guess this must be punishment for them and the West number one North Carolina, considered they're the lower two number one seeds, that they get to play the play-in winner instead of UConn and Houston, who don't. They just straight up play a 16th seed.
Told you we got a lot to talk about. I'm just telling you. Put them in the same mark that you put by NC State. I told you earlier. Put that on that 16 line between Montana State and Grambling State. I'll explain. I'm telling you, I'm going to explain this because I know what people think. I got the I'm not gonna say I got the answer, but I have an answer for you on why certain things happen.
You might have your third ever 16 over 1. I'm sorry, my man.
Oh my gosh. The 8-9 is Utah State and TCU. That 8-9 matchup there.
Rough. TCU gave Houston the business, so this is not a team you can take for light.
No, you can't. So yeah, 5-12. Circle this 5-12. Circle this 5-12.
One of the best games. It's probably going to be one of the best games of that round. It's probably going to be one of the best games in the round. Yeah.
Everybody is on McNeese State.
Loving McNeese State.
Circle that game.
They're loving McNeese State.
I don't want it what Mark Few is saying to his ball club today and going into that game because McNeese State is a favorite upset pick right now.
You cold for that, Drew.
Damn. Really, Sensei? Really? Come on. Really? I thought Yao Ming was wearing a Purdue 15 jersey for a moment. Oh my Lord, Sensei Jude.
Yummy.
The 4-13 matchup is Kansas and Sanford.
Yummy.
If Kansas can't get they big men's back, you might have a 4-13 upset. Because
I'm not impressed with Kansas.
With the way they look without their big men's, they got to put it on them.
Look, they went to Houston the last game of the regular season. They didn't belong on the court. And then they looked like they didn't even want to play in the Big 12 tournament. They looked like they wanted no parts of the tournament. That's how bad they looked.
So you might want to put a little star behind that 4-13 matchup in the Midwest region because that might be an upset. Depending on if Kansas wants to show up or not.
That might be a 13 over 4, yeah.
And plus if they healthy because without Hernan Dickinson, they look terrible. That was just unreal.
Oh, yeah. Yummy.
Would you stop with the yummy stuff? Jeez.
Yummy.
The 6-11 matchup, South Carolina and Oregon.
Screaming won't help the playmaker.
I don't think the committee did South Carolina any favors with that matchup.
No, they didn't.
You giving them the hottest team in the Pac-12. That is so disrespectful.
It's funny that they decided to give them the Pac-12 tournament champ for the first round opponent. I mean, that's messed up. Seriously, that's messed up.
By the way, put a mark by Oregon's name.
So that's 2 11 seeds to put a mark by. Okay. And
then we got that 16 play-in we got a mark by.
Yeah.
3-14 Creighton and Akron.
Mm-hmm.
Creighton, if y'all the team that I think y'all are, this should be no problem.
Yeah,
if y'all the team that I think y'all are.
If the shots fall, they most certainly are.
Oh, round of applause for Cole Johnson, the Texas Longhorns, the 7 seed.
You could take that clap play. No, I'm sorry, my bad. that's supposed to be a hospitable guest, and I'm being here hospitable. My bad. Thank you for that golf clap and that sarcastic clap.
I returned the favor. How you like that?
I was legit happy for your Gators fans.
Hey,
you on the other hand, were being sarcastic.
You ain't think your team's getting in the first place.
And
they got in.
So
we're in the same boat.
But thank you. That's been my point right there. Thank you.
I ain't want Florida in at the moment in time.
I get you didn't want them in, but you actually what time?
I was on air and I said I don't want Florida in because I know they're gonna be a first weekend exit. And the tournament, with the way that bracket fell, I still might be right.
Yeah, but yeah, congrats to Texas. I'll say this: they got to play better when they go to the SEC.
They'll get the runner between Virginia and Colorado State. See, they ain't do y'all no favors either.
No, none. Mm-mm. None.
And then your 215 is Tennessee, and they get that sweet darling is back in the tournament. St. Peter's is back in the tournament.
So, is it just me, Playmaker, or did the tournament committee want to punish Tennessee in either having a 15-2 upset or they get bounced in the round of 32? Because they made Tennessee's road just to get to the Sweet 16 extremely difficult.
They did, but put a mark by St. Peter's name. But you want to know why I'm telling you put a mark by these teams' names. That's the Midwest. Let's go to the West.
The West.
The final number 1 seed is the North Carolina Tar Heels.
North Carolina, throw your hands up, take your shoes off, treat it like a helicopter. North Carolina. This was for you. This was for us. Oh. Who am I? Petey Pop, mother. I'm sorry, my bad. Yes. Sir.
At least UNC actually made their conference championship game.
The only other one that actually made it that far.
Yeah.
that in Houston, they made it to the conference championship game too, but they actually played decent. They lost, but they actually played decent.
You're right, but I don't even think that bit goes to championship game.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I was so disappointed in Houston. I'm like, at least show up. At least roll the ball on the court. At least dive or something. Don't just simply throw the white flag 10 minutes in the game. Come on, man. Y'all supposed to be champs. And y'all like chumps in here. That's sad. Yeah. I'm sorry. North Carolina.
North Carolina will get the winner between Harvard and Wagner. Put a mark by that 16.
Memo the Tar Heels fan. Be happy for victories other than the ones against Duke. Suckers.
We have been through this many times, and I have not.
There are more teams that matter than Duke in North Carolina's canon. Act like it.
And if we're going to be honest, you might want to listen to Mr. Johnson, because if you handle business against a 16 team, you're either getting Mississippi State or you're getting Tom Izzo.
Which way you want to get roughed up in the round 32?
You know what they say? January, February, March, Izzo. This is where Tom Izzo comes to life for some reason.
Somehow, some way, he gets those teams playing in a way that you never thought they could. Yeah.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
And I mean, and it's same thing, rugged. And when I mean rugged, I mean positively rugged. Rugged, tough, defensive-minded. Man, I mean, he is the opposite of Tennessee, where with Mick Barnes' teams, they fold like a tent. But Michigan State, if they smell the end of dance, they're going to give everybody the business.
Why it says Big Easy got raw, and I will explain why he said that later on.
Well, I mean, hey, Utah's the number 1 ranked team in the whole country. So they're thinking that's pretty much all there is to it.
What's Sensei saying now?
I was Cartman, cheesy poof mad at Virginia Commonwealth University yesterday for losing their second consecutive Atlantic 10 final and allowing Duquesne, an NCAA tournament berth for the first time in 46 years. Expletive emoji.
He ain't lying. He ain't lying. He ain't lying. He's trying to lie. I watched the game. I was watching that game while watching I was watching that game while watching who played first. We played first. I
Wow,
was
so
watching both games at the same time.
Duquesne ain't been in the NCAA tournament since '78. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but they made it. So your 5-12 matchup in the West: St. Mary's and Grand Canyon.
That's a good matchup there.
Um,
A lot of
yeah,
people seem to be high on Grand Canyon too.
that's a 31-win team.
I mean, no. When I say high, I mean we've seen teams that have been not in the big time conferences win 30 games, but they'll throw them against the number one ranked team, they get trounced. Number one seed team, they just get steamrolled.
That's because that committee at time didn't know what the freak they was doing. I caught myself.
But there's a lot, yeah. But there's a lot of people that are on Grand Canyon's bandwagon.
Dude, Grand Canyon's like 31-3, and these boys can put up points in bunches.
Mm-hmm.
And you going against the St. Mary team that's basically the same.
Yeah, I'm about to say, and they've got St. Mary's who could do the exact same thing, put up points in bunches. Man. Ooh, man, the NCAA wanted us to actually like these 5-12 matchups. He's saying that he's saying that Duquesne. That's right. The last time they made it to the NCAA tournament, my man Drew wasn't even born.
That's terrible.
By about I think 9 years.
And then 4-13 in the West, Alabama and Charleston. Listening to Reese Davis, and those of you who know Reese Davis, he is a grad from Alabama.
That's right. I totally forgot about that.
He picked Charleston.
He should.
He was on the Pat McAfee show, and he picked Charleston. So I'm like, what?
So Reese picked Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
He should. You saw how bad they were in Nashville? You saw how bad Alabama was in Nashville. I wouldn't be... Reese, I'm proud of you. Being an Alabama alum, I'm glad you said, look, they played such hot garbage in the tournament, they don't even deserve to make it past the first round. Thank you.
Not the fact he asked the guy who worked for the team that actually did the damage to them. Like I was finna respond to that.
You're right.
6-11, Clemson against New Mexico. Clemson made it, but
I saw the tournament selection show. That was so funny. You saw Clemson. They were celebrating. They were dapping each other up because they were in their locker room. Clemson then made number 16. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, baby. You all will go against New Mexico. Oh Lord. Yeah. And then they cut to New Mexico and they're in there and then in their arena and they just explode and throwing confetti all over the place.
The Mountain West champions are an 11 seed.
Well, I'll put it this way. So Clemson got this bid thanks to what was it their third win ever on the road against North Carolina? Yeah. And yeah. Basically, it was on the strength of that, and very little else.
And yeah, you get the Mountain West champions. Good luck. And you talking about a team that beat San Diego State. That says a lot.
Oh. Drew is coming with some barbs and bombs. The best part about this bracket, no USC, especially no Bronzexual Jr. Oh, wow.
And thanks to Sensei Juice, Snowman in the Morning has made it to Shooting Lights Out.
No Bronzexual Jr.
Your 3-14 matchup in the West is Baylor versus Colgate. Shout out to Colgate for making it.
Yeah.
But you got to win Baylor.
Yeah. We'll congratulate you, and you'll get thoroughly trounced and bounced.
Yeah, y'all got Baylor. I'm sorry. Your 7-10 matchup, Dayton and Nevada. I like Dayton in this one. Like I don't feel that 7-10 upset in this one.
I like Dayton it too, but I like the matchup. But yeah, I agree. I think Dayton's going to hold serve, basically.
And then finally, the 2 seed in the West, Arizona Wildcats. They need to be on pins and needles because they got a team who coach basically got fired, and then they end up winning their tournament. in Long Beach State.
Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. Too low down, cause they're crazy.
Arizona better be on their P's and Q's because that team in Long Beach, they playing with house money now. They can play with however they want to play.
Death Row ain't the label that pays me. Unfadable, so please don't try to fade this.
And
but
the committee think
back
they
to the
slick.
situation.
The committee think they slick. I see what you did in the West region. I see what you did. I'm gonna get to it in a minute. So that's the 4 brackets as we sit here right
so
now.
You lay the brackets out, all right.
Here are the top 4 seeds in each region.
All right.
This is where the fun begins. As you can see on the East, UConn, Iowa State, Illinois, Auburn.
Illinois. Talking like he from the 70s. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
In the South region, Houston, Marquette, Kentucky, Duke.
All right.
The Midwest, Purdue, Tennessee, Creighton, and Kansas. And in the West, North Carolina, Arizona, Baylor, and Alabama.
All right.
Cole Johnson, where do you want to begin now?
Why they had to put Iowa State in the East? I want UConn should have earned the right to have the easiest bracket of them all. They're the number 1 ranked overall seed.
They got the hardest bracket.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they stacked the bracket. I'm like, man,
the Big East champion is number 1. The Big 12 champion is number 2.
The Big 10 champion is number 3. The SEC champion is number 4. I'm like, come on. I was like, don't stack the deck against them. They're the number 1 overall seed. Number 1 overall ranked team. Let them have the easiest path to the Final Four. Let them earn that right, at least. But no. Mm-mm.
And by the way, Wise says
yeah, UConn got screwed. Yeah.
Wise agrees with us.
I'm like, you throw in the Big 12 champ, the Big 10 champ, the SEC champ. That's the other 3 top seeds in your region. Kid real.
Meanwhile, in the West region, they trying to set up a Caleb Love Elite 8 battle.
That's what I see. That's what I said they were trying to set up for it. UNC and Arizona.
And they're trying to get Purdue an easy route to the Elite 8.
I agree. I just get the feeling they're gonna get out before the Elite 8, but yeah, they did. They set up Purdue to me with the easiest route. At least to the Elite 8. At least to there.
Hey, you already said you have no faith in Kansas.
No, none. Zilch.
If the 3-ball ain't working for Creighton,
forget it. They are beatable. But I think, for some reason, when it comes to these tournaments, all you need to have is one in the game fall, and if for some reason it just makes a team that has a decent shot of making those long-range jumpers fall, they seem to fall in bunches.
And now, if somebody from outside of Coquette from Tennessee want to show up, Tennessee can make a run. But Dalton Coquette, that boy is a bomb. Even though I'm a Gator fan, and he plays for Tennessee, that dude's a baller.
See, this is what pisses me off about Tennessee. People want to claim that this team is going to be the boss, and they're gonna they're gonna be one of the best teams in the country, and then they get to forget the NCAA tournament. They get to the Southeastern Conference tournament. What was that game against Mississippi State, Rick Barnes?
I have no idea.
You scored 19 points in the first half. You should have white flagged and forfeited and just gone back to Knoxville right then and there. I mean, come on.
You're basically the home team.
Yes. Let's be honest. Nashville's the home of Vanderbilt. Everybody knows Vanderbilt wasn't gonna go anywhere. And
they just fired Jerry Stackhouse.
They gave Jerry Stackhouse his walking papers soon after their game was done. Tennessee was going to be the team that was the home, that had the home field advantage because Knoxville is only 160 miles from Nashville. So they travel, and there's a whole lot of Tennessee alum who live in Nashville. So This was laid out for you, and you give us 19 points in the first half against Mississippi State.
You know the funny thing is,
Weak.
Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky, they all had the double buys. And Auburn.
All of them. And except for Auburn. And all of them lost the first game they played in that tournament after the double buys.
Which opened the door for Auburn.
Yeah. Which rolled the red carpet for Auburn to just simply steamroll the rest of the way. Yeah.
And then they looked up. They got to get a payback on my good because I'm pretty sure they wanted a rematch with us for the longest. Like,
well, of course.
Y'all beat us like we never been beat before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we had to give you a taste of your own medicine. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it's supposed to work. But yeah, that just pissed me off by Tennessee. The whole hype was this guy. They actually were in line for a number one seed, and if they actually were to have won the SEC tournament, considering that UNC got bounced in the championship game in their ACC tournament, they would have been the fourth number one. But no, they didn't even want to show up in the semifinal. They didn't want to even think about the semifinal because in the quarterfinals they decided to say bye-bye and leave.
Sensei says, how is North Carolina number one after looking like dumpster?
It's because you had, let me see. So in the tournament you had Houston lose, Purdue lose, Arizona lose, Tennessee lose, and Kentucky lose. All of them were probably in line for a number one seed if they did really well in tournament. And UNC got all the way to the championship game in the ACC tournament. That's why, even looking like dumpster Pelicans, they ended up getting the very last number one seed.
Some people believe Iowa State should have got number one. Here's the problem.
Nah.
Here's the problem.
Nah.
They had one of the weakest non-conference schedules.
That's what did them in. No.
They non-conference ranking was like 320.
The only reason why they got the way they got was because of 2 wins against Houston. That's the only reason why they got as high as they got. So to me, what I would have done is I would have actually put, let me see, I would have put Tennessee over in the East. I would have put Marquette in the Midwest. I would have put Ohio State in the South. I would have had them the number 2 seed. And I would have had Houston look at that number 2 seed and say, doggone it, either we're going to be destroying the Cyclones in the Elite Eight in Dallas, or we're going to be sweating buckets. Because I would want Houston to stare at that scarlet letter all the way until the Elite Eight.
Well, that's the top 4 seeds. Kansas. They run a consecutive streak of making the tournament to 34. Michigan State at 26. Gonzaga at 25. And Purdue at 9. And we have faith in none of these teams.
Michigan State's the only one I have. I'll actually say this. Michigan State's the one I have the most faith in, and then the number 9 seed in the West. So they're not going to really go all that far.
So congratulations on making the tournament still, but...
And yes, I realize Purdue is one of the number ones. I just don't feel them after Edie. Please give me a reason to actually like the team or root for them or give me hope that they actually can be a team where they can make a lot of noise other than their big fella. I'm sorry, I can't.
All right. Oh, Lord. Go ahead, Cole. Go ahead.
So Toba Media, or Drew Willingham, he says, quote, The Rock said that Phoenix is full of meth heads since they never win anything over that way. They should have given Arizona the number 1 seed. Q, feels like the first time. Feels like the very first time. Feels like the first time. Feels like the very first time.
Okay, all right. So
We're
your last
gonna
four.
make that history.
No.
See, it must be the woman in you that brings out the man in me.
Are you done?
Oh. You know why I do it, Playmaker. You know why I do it.
I know. Now, if you notice, your last four in are the 4 teams that playing in the play-in.
That is correct.
And your first four out is OU, Seton Hall, Indiana State, and Pittsburgh.
I know there was some people that were angry that Seton Hall got the host. I've heard the talk about that. People thought that Indiana State should have made it in, but I've heard more that say, that's okay.
Now, people,
Pitt.
take a picture of this, or write the schools down, because later on I'm gonna give you the reason why.
Pitt.
The first four here I'm gonna give you some answers. It might not be the answer you want to hear, but I got some answers of why the first four out is the way it is.
Oh, I'm gonna give you one answer right now. The fact that OU is out makes this all worth it. Get out, OU, and stay out.
This guy here. You and your hatred for OU. Now I got to deal with it in the Southeastern Conference next year.
Oh, well, look, it's 4:48 p.m., March 18, 2024. And OU still sucks. But at least you're not A&M. I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
All right, these are the
Where they blow.
by seedings from all of the.
Hey, you can take blow however you like.
And the main ones people like to look at is this 10-7.
It might be like the Rock that A&M does blow, but they blow all the same. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. You talking? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Are you a part of WrestleMania?
Yes.
Are you a part of WrestleMania that I didn't know about? Are you on the card that I didn't know?
I couldn't resist. It just felt good to say that. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
And then Sensei Jules want to keep adding on Cole Johnson is like, wow. All right, who is number 11
for Virginia smiling so hard? That induced by something.
And I'll be hanging out with Drew with Sensei Drew in about an hour and a half from now.
Oh, you're gonna get a whole lot more of that too.
But this is the seeding by ranking. So for those of you who are looking, where is your 12-15 upset at? Where is your 11-6 upset at? Where is your 10-7 upset at? Those are the main ones. You might get a 13-4 upset. You know, the way that this season has been going, and Cole Johnson has been with for most of it. Anything is possible outside of maybe, one seed might get caught this year too. Who knows?
The only number one that might get caught this year will probably again be Purdue. I don't think they will this year, but yeah. But you might see a 15/2 this year. You might.
So,
am I rooting for it? No, but I mean you might see it.
So all right, we're gonna take a break here. When we come back, we're gonna slide to the ladies. Cause ooh. You talking about spiciness? That committee has some spiciness going on when they made this break. We'll be back.
You're simply an embarrassment, son. Just like Ja Morant when he's waving a gun.
The Playmakers blog is sponsored by Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus, mountains of entertainment. So much to stream. From shows and movies you can only catch here on Paramount Plus, whether it be from CBS, BET, Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, and so much more. The new home of Showtime. Watch Showtime original series, movies, and sports when you sign up for Paramount Plus with Showtime. Catch exclusive originals from Paramount Plus such as Star Trek, Strange Wars, The Family Stallones, Halo, and so much more. You also can stream live sports like NFL on CBS, the UEFA Champions League, the Masters, and the SEC on CBS. Paramount Plus, you can stream up to 3 devices when you create an account. So Paramount Plus plan starts at $5.99. If you hit that link below, you can get a free trial. Paramount Plus, mountains of entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Into the Net FC. Kylian Mbappe just all of a sudden finally understood his role, and I think he finally understood that everything Kylian Mbappe has accomplished already, there is still a hell of a lot waiting for him in the future. Kylian Mbappe is only 24 years old. He has accomplished so much, and you know what? Kylian Mbappe has not even reached his prime. Finally seeing, the Marcus Rashford we have been hoping for such a long time, But, this game, after everything Manchester United has been, doing lately, this was actually the ultimate test, to see if Manchester United, honestly was all of a sudden for real. I explained this. The United States, maybe they have to suffer this loss as a lesson to learn to prepare for the future. Because 4 years from now, the World Cup is in not 1, not 2, but 3 countries. The United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. Into the Net FC is available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
All right, welcome back to Shooting Lights Out. We are breaking down the brackets. We went through the men's. Had some fun with that. Now we get into the spicy stuff.
Yes, we did.
What the world you got behind you now?
Mm-hmm. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is Benzino. And he is the star of the next movie that we're going to be talking about on Mentality, The No Neck of Fenway. Rated R if you know how Y speaks. But yes, go ahead. I mean, the dude had the nerve to talk about Melissa Ford's juice box.
This Net 7 might be rated R because what this committee did in the women's bracket.
Oh, Lord.
Just saying.
Somebody needs to be whooped.
Let's dive into the women's bracket. Let's start with the Albany regions, 1 and 2. Well, we all know who's the overall number 1. There's no surprise. They the only unbeaten team in all of college basketball. The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Number 1 overall. Yep, the best team in the country, men and women.
Yep. Sacred Heart are Presbyterian, the 16 seeds.
Well, we'll be praying for both schools. We hope that you all do well. We hope you represent your colleges and your institutions finally, because South Carolina is going to beat you down to where it will be ugly, but you have to put an F in front of the word.
That's even without Cardozo, because she's suspended for that game.
Yeah, they unfortunately, I hated Presbyterian and Sacred Heart, but South Carolina is going to beat you fugly.
The 8-9 matchup would be North Carolina and Michigan State. Deja Kelly and the Tar Heels. I have no idea what's happening to y'all. I have nothing when it comes to North Carolina. I have nothing when it comes to North Carolina. I thought they would make a push in the ACC tournament. They went out first. They were in our first game they played.
Well, and I heard that they was going to try to. I heard they were making some noise late in the season, telling North Carolina, but I guess it just wasn't in the cards for them.
Now you got Michigan State. The 5-12 matchup. Cole's gonna love this matchup. Oklahoma, the 5th seed, and they get Florida.
Florida Coast University. Oh yes.
Talking about looking for a 5-12 upset. I'm just throwing that.
Get the Lady Sooners out, Florida Gulf Coast. You
get
them out.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Get them Lady Sooners out. Put them in the place where the men are. That's where they belong. Out of the tournament.
The 4-13 is Indiana versus Fairfield, and Indiana's not healthy, so I'm scared for Indiana. You see what happened the first game they played without their best player in the Big Ten tournament. That was they
Well, that's true.
Woo, that's a whole
That's
different
true.
Indiana team.
They didn't, as they used to say in the old days, they didn't have the horses. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Fairfield might have an opportunity. They might have an opportunity. Just be sure on that.
Mm-hmm.
The 6-11 Nebraska versus Texas A&M.
Oh, so the ladies are playing as well as the men are. Okay.
I thought I heard that.
Well,
I thought I heard that matchup before. I just don't remember what.
Yes, you did. Lady Cornhuskers destroy the Lady Aggies. Because as much as the Lady Sooners need to be bounced, the Lady Aggies need to be destroyed. And in fact, A&M needs to no longer actually carry a charter to have a school. That is how bad and atrocious Texas A&M is.
For another podcast.
But we are talking
That's
college,
for
right?
another podcast. Okay, I'm just not going to dive into that today, okay? You say that for another day. Your 3-14 matchup, Oregon State versus Eastern Washington. Congratulations to the Eagles of Eastern Washington, but you're going against Oregon State.
They'll be flying the coop after the Beavers. Yes.
It's 7-10. Ole Miss versus Marquette. This can go either way. That can go either way, you know.
That's a good game. That's a nice matchup. That's a good game right
Hey, guess who's in the chat? Sig is in the chat.
Yeah, I see. Sig Diggy. What's up, man?
He also said he's saying you having a good laugh as always.
What am I doing now? I'm just. My friend invited me on this platform. He wanted to discuss the bracket breakdown. I'm having a good time. What's wrong?
Your 2-15 matchup, Notre Dame is going against Kent State. Golden Flash, congratulations. But the hottest team right now outside of South Carolina is Notre Dame.
They did Notre Dame no favors of putting them in the same region as South Carolina, though. But yeah, I agree.
Speaking of not doing any favors, let's go to the region number 2 that's also in Albany. The number 1 team.
Oh, now this is atrocious.
But we ain't gonna do it yet, okay? We ain't gonna do it yet.
No. But I will say this before I go off, and I'm gonna go off now. But I'll say this on the positive. Iowa deserved the number 1 seed.
Clayton and Clark gets a number 1 seed. They'll get the winner of Holy Cross and UT Martin. If y'all saw the episode 2, was it 2 episodes ago? You know how I feel. But if you didn't, I will give you a feeling. Because put a circle, put a star, put whatever, put every mark you got on UT Martin. And I will explain later. But that's already one right there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, your 8-9, West Virginia versus Princeton. Mm-hmm. For some reason, Ivy Leagues like to show up in the first round, so I don't know if West Virginia want to take them lightly. Just saying.
Good matchup, just don't.
Your 5-12 is Colorado and Drake. If Colorado can get past Drake, meaning they get themselves together, Colorado is a dangerous team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unfortunately, not in this region. But yes, they should get past
Same thing can be said about the 4-13 when Kansas State and Portland go at it.
I feel bad for both teams.
The 6-11 is Louisville, who hasn't been the same since a certain player transferred. And I'll get to her team in a minute. Going against Middle Tennessee State.
Hey, look, I'll rep Murfreesboro. That's where Middle Tennessee State is. Be happy in the tournament, ladies. You can get bounced, and it don't matter because the team that's going to bounce you is going to get bounced soon thereafter.
And then the reigning, defending, undisputed national champions, the LSU Tigers, are a 3 seed, and they get the 14 seed Rice.
And now you about to piss me off.
Yet. Hold it. The 7-10 Creighton versus UNLV. That could be an interesting game. I must admit.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be until UCLA gets a hold of both. Either one of those
Yeah,
teams
and
gets
then
knocked
the,
them
and the
out
two
of the
seed,
sweet,
yeah, the two
in the
seed is
round 32.
UCLA, and they
Yeah.
get California.
Yeah, because you're about to be baptized with this butt whooping the Lady
That's
Bruins
the
gonna
Albany
get.
region. Let's go to the Portland region, shall we? Juju on that beat. Because Juju Watson got the SC Trojans. Southern Cal.
California.
As a 1 seed. Who had USC
So the
as a 1 seed?
women, nobody. So you mean to tell me that the Trojan women can ball out, but the Trojan men can't?
Why is you like this? Why is you like this?
What?
The only reason why you said that is because there's a certain player from a certain superstar that's on that team. That's the only reason why you said it.
I can't. Well, I can't help if that certain player has scored the most points ever in NBA history and has turned the ball over more times in NBA history and has traveled more times than a businessman flies every week on the red eye special.
This is not Snowman in the morning. I don't need to hear him on this platform until I feel like hearing him.
I didn't
But
mention
I know
his
why
name
you did it.
once.
I know the motive. I know your motive. That's all that matters. Doesn't it say about it doesn't matter what you do? Is it just it's the reason why you do it?
You do.
Meaning the motive. I know the motive. Like, darn it.
Oh, well, I can't help the motive. It's just right. Look, you know me. The jokes write themselves. I can't help it.
Let me have this moment away from the NBA, okay? We will get to the NBA down the road, but right now this is not about the freaking NBA.
You know you have made my week.
That's why his butt lost his scoring for you.
Yeah.
Anyway. Southern Cal will
I want to rip it. I want to rip it to some more.
Southern Cal will get Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Yeah, y'all have no chance.
No. USC got a gift in the first round. But the Lady Trojans deserve that
your
gift.
8-9 matchup is Kansas and Michigan. I don't care. If I'm being honest.
Same. Whoever's going to survive and go to round 32, USC.
Your 5-12 matchup is Baylor, and they get the winner between Vanderbilt and Columbia.
Now they could give USC a tussle. Baylor in the Sweet 16.
Your 4-13 matchup is Virginia Tech and Marshall. I am worried for Virginia
That's provided.
Tech. I am worried. I
was going to say that's provided if Virginia Tech can rebound from getting bounced early in their ACC tournament and find a way to actually win. But yeah.
Say Diggy having fun now. I can see.
Oh, sick. Is the Playmaker blog network still in the broadcaster witness protection program?
He ain't done.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's all love, Cole. You have an infectious laugh, and we all need a reason to laugh and smile. There you go, brother. Exactly. Especially Playmaker, because he don't want us. He don't want to do either one. He wants to ration them laughs and smiles. I don't know why. And he says, "Look, it's just ridiculous how Playmaker gets riled up." I love it. I love it because he doesn't want to just crack up, but he knows I'm going to crack him up. He knows it. See,
anyway,
my point proven. My point.
I am worried about Virginia Tech because they're not healthy and they could get caught by Marshall. We don't want that.
They could.
We don't want that.
They could, and they may be limping if they get past Marshall. They may limp to a butt whooping in Baylor.
We don't want that, but I want a girl. I want to see Georgia A more, okay? But I'm worried because they beating up. Syracuse a 6 seed. They get the winner between, and the committee ain't do them no favors. They get the winner between Auburn and Arizona.
Auburn and Arizona.
Syracuse ain't get no favors in that one. Because especially if it's Auburn.
No. Yeah, and if they get past them, more than likely they'll have to face UConn in round 32.
The third seed, and they get Jackson State. Congratulations, Jackson State. Proud of you. Y'all made it.
Yes. I love HBCUs. Wrap it up, ladies. Wrap it up. Because those 4 quarters are going to be the most precious 4 quarters you play in
Because
college basketball.
even
And the
though they don't have
last.
Asa Fudd, Aaliyah Edwards is back, so team up with Paige Beckers. Good luck, Jackson State.
Because it seems like the Lady Huskies have caught their stride.
The 7-10
Yeah.
matchup, Duke versus Richmond.
Okay, so you got the Blue Devils and the Spiders. Okay.
And then your 2-15 matchup is Ohio State, and they get Maine. And Maine, you just the next opponent for Ohio State because they are steaming right now.
I was going to say. Now, I know the Lady Buckeyes thought that the Big Ten championship was all theirs, and then Maryland decided to give them a butt whooping. I want them to play really angry in this game, in the round of 32, and yes, even in the Sweet 16. More than likely, you'll have to face off against UConn because it's going to have to take that level of concentration for you to actually advance. Otherwise, you might take an L in either one of those 3 games.
UConn does see Ohio State in the Sweet 16. I'm looking forward to that matchup because guess who knocked UConn out last year?
The same Ohio State Buckeyes. And see that, and that's the thing. I mean, we talked about another region. It's a possibility in the Elite Eight we might see LSU and Iowa.
We're gonna get to that in a minute. Check this out. Let's get to the final region, the Portland 4 region.
Oh yes, yeah, the Portland.
Take a bow, Mr. Cole Johnson. Take a bow, cause your lady Longhorns, the number 1 seed in Portland 4.
Now, unlike the men, who I don't think they really deserve to be in the tournament, but I'm glad they are, the Lady Longhorns did their thing. And thank you for repping hard and getting that tournament. Because I've been feeling as though this team has been on the cusp for far too long. On the cusp. And now they actually have their moment. Unfortunately, they're last year in the Big 12. But now they have their moment, and now they are one of the 4 best teams in the country. I am proud of the Lady Longhorns. Congratulations, girls.
And the Lady Longhorns get dressed as a 16 seed.
Oh. It was just like how Snowman has to understand that I ain't no good. Just like Coach Prime has always known that Shay ain't no good.
So once the Lady Longhorns get done with Drexel Dragons, they'll either see the 8 seed Alabama or the 9 seed Florida State.
Drexel, I love Philly, but unfortunately you'll have to go back there very quickly. Let me see, Alabama, Florida State. I don't even think it matters to Texas which of those two go advance to the round 32.
You know I hate this damn matchup with a passion.
Oh, I know you dislike the match. Well, no, you don't really dislike it as much. You don't have the hatred for Alabama as you do for Florida State. I know this as you being a Gators fan. You have some disdain for Alabama, but you really.
A reason.
I'll put it this way.
So, I don't think you. I said that for a reason.
I know, but I'll put it this way. If a Florida State fan was on fire and you had urine in your body, you wouldn't piss on it.
That's really disrespectful.
You probably would if it's Alabama's. If it's Alabama fan that was on fire. But Florida State, you would hold the urine and let that fool burn.
Both ways are disrespectful anyway. There's no winning in that one. Both ways is disrespectful. I am not that much of a disrespectful person. Jeez.
I know you're not, but I'm playing into your hatred of the Seminoles.
Yeah,
but yes, you said that you're saying you really don't care for either team. The lady the Lady Tide and the Lady Seminoles. You hate this matchup. Okay, why do you hate this matchup, sir?
I gotta pick the nose.
What's the problem? If they're the better team, they're gonna get bounced in the round 32 anyway.
Immediately.
And did you clown me on how I dog out A&M in Oklahoma?
I can do that. You doing 2 teams? I just did 1.
You were doing.
you can't even respond to that.
You weren't all right, fine. You weren't clowning Alabama, but like I said, I was laying it out there.
You were clowning
okay,
OU
fine.
and Texas
A&M. Well, yeah, you're right. Oh yeah. I will always have a play hatred for Oklahoma, and I'll always have a real hate for A&M. That will always be the case. But yes, but I was just saying, Florida, they don't really have the best of feelings for Alabama, but they don't really hate them. But Florida State, all right, since you're a nice guy, you had a bucket of water in your hand, and you saw an Alabama fan burning and a Florida State fan burning, you will douse the Alabama fan. The Florida State fan will have to be like the Tramp song, "Burn, baby, burn." Disco Inferno, burn, baby, burn. I knew it.
No answer.
I knew it. But anyway, Florida State will advance to the round 32. They will get trounced by the Lady Longhorns, so it won't.
The 5-12 matchup is Utah and South Dakota State. Move it on here. Utah. Oh man,
my man said fifth.
Utah gotta. I'm gonna be honest. I had a hard time picking Utah and South Dakota State because them lady Jackrabbits teams, they are some shooters. Yes. But
I wish I knew more about the South Dakota State club. I wish I knew more about them. I know more about. I know about
I can
the
tell you
Utes.
this: the men and the women of South Dakota State, they know how to shoot. They know how to shoot, so I'm concerned, but I'm gonna get the edge to Utah. The 4-13 Gonzaga and UC Irvine.
That's Gonzaga.
The 6-11 Tennessee versus Green Bay. The same, but the man, which Tennessee team want to show up?
Lady Vols, you better show the men up, because the men are hot garbage when it comes to March. You better play for under Pat Summitt, doggone it.
R.I.P. to Pat Summitt.
That's right.
Which Tennessee team gonna show up? Because good gracious, y'all can definitely get caught by Green Bay. And that's
agree.
like poison
I
me
agree.
saying that because of the much respect I have for Tennessee Lady Volunteers. Even though y'all still in Tennessee and I should hate y'all, but
Yeah. I'm sorry. Playmaker. Now, you have such a healthy distaste for Florida State, but you seem to not hate as much Kentucky, Alabama, and Tennessee. Why is that?
I have that level of respect for Pat Summitt like I do with Pop. And I'm a CP fan as well, so you know what I'm talking about. And you know what school she went to, so.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough.
It's the same thing
Fair
with
enough.
Kentucky, going all the way back to Tubby Smith days. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Fair
I
enough.
ain't that young, people.
Cool. That's good to know. All right.
That's the way it is. The
Fair enough, bro.
30-14 matches NC State versus Chattanooga.
My neighbors to the southeast. Oh boy, the Lady Woolpacker just going to destroy you. I'm sorry.
The 7-10 matchup Iowa State versus Maryland.
Now, which Maryland team is going to show up?
The one that chopped off Ohio State's head.
That's the question I gotta ask.
I found himself being I forgot what seed it was. I want to say that was like a 8 seed.
It was low, but I forgot the seed too. But it was low.
So I'm with him. What Maryland team want to show up? And then the 2-15 Because since Texas got the last number 1 seed, we knew who was going to be the number 2 seed. That would be the Stanford cover.
And it makes sense. And it makes sense. And it makes sense. That's exactly
And
what
they
should
get
have happened. The lowest number one seed should get the best number 2 seed.
And they
in their
get to
region.
face off against Norfolk State. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now let the real. I ain't even gonna call it fun because they ain't even be fun. It's gonna be some hard-hitting words said.
The top 4 teams.
Here we go.
Okay.
Albany 1, South Carolina, Notre Dame, Oregon State, Indiana. Albany 2, Iowa, UCLA, LSU, Kansas State. Portland 3, USC, Ohio State, UConn, and Virginia Tech. And Portland 4, Texas, Stanford, NC State, and Gonzaga. Which one of us should go first? Because we both gonna hit the same. We both gonna hit the same region.
Yeah. I'll be the gracious guest and allow you to go first, sir.
I want y'all to take a hard look at Albany 2. Take a real hard look. You see them 4. You see them 4 names right there. I ain't even include the 5th one in there, which is Colorado. Iowa, number 1 seed. Yeah, no problem. They deserve to be the 2nd best team in the country. No problem. Who they got in their region? Well, we'll give you UCLA. First of all, I don't think UCLA deserves to be a 2 seed, to be honest with you. First and foremost. I think they should be a 3 seed. And speaking of 3 seed, who's the 3 seed? The reigning, defending national champions LSU. And then you slide in Kansas State at the 4 and Colorado at the 5. Who has the hardest bracket? Albany 2, where Clayton Clark resides, as the top dog. Why? Because the committee was like, well, when you look at it, so you're telling me Stanford is the best number 2 team, which I have no problem with. Ohio State, I have no problem with, even though they did get smacked by Maryland. Notre Dame, I have no problem because they ran the table in the ACC tournament. Legit ran the table.
And they earned that. And they earned that spot, so I don't have a problem with
that. UCLA and LSU. Oh, and by the way, that's not the only thing you messed up. You're telling me Oregon State is better than LSU too? Because they're the next team. They're the first team to start the 3 line. It's just Oregon State. Oregon State is not better than LSU. But guess what? You can't put LSU in that region because guess who's in that region? South Carolina.
And that means they wouldn't be matching up in the Final 4. They would have to match up at the Elite 8.
So you don't want to put UCLA and their ranking spot would probably be Portland 3 because guess who's number 1 in that region? USC.
So you can't have that either. For the same reason. You would have USC and Oregon State match up in the Elite 8.
So instead,
possibly.
You took your 2 biggest stars and threw them in the same region.
So that means we're not guaranteed to have the matchup that had everybody and their mama drooling. We ain't gonna see that in the Final 4 this year.
Not in the Final 4. And then what makes it so difficult, they might not even face each other.
And they might not face each other this year.
Because
That's correct.
Iowa will be playing Kansas State most likely for the 3rd time, which they split in the 2 matchups. So Kansas State has to beat Iowa. And then UCLA and LSU might face each other in the Sweet 16.
Wait. Iowa and Kansas State has already played twice this year?
Twice.
The heck, they played twice and they're in 2 different conferences.
You remember college basketball, they have these little tournaments during which. So they played twice and they split. So Kansas already know how to play against Caitlin Clark in Iowa. They got 2 tastes of those. You're going to have a Sweet 16 matchup between UCLA and LSU. Not to mention, we still got Colorado in there. If they get themselves together, we know Colorado can be dangerous.
And it's possible. And it's a possibility you will have Kansas State and Colorado in round 32.
I mean, what?
That's your round of 30. That's probably going to be your star round of 32 matchup. Kansas State, Colorado. For the right to play Iowa more than likely in the Sweet 16.
What are we doing? Do we understand? Like, South Carolina in one region, yes. Iowa in another region, yes. We need LSU in another region.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Either of the other two. Either of the Portland regions.
Swap
That's what I would have done.
Swap UConn and LSU.
And more than like, yeah. And yeah. Either one.
Go ahead, Kobe.
All right. So you led perfectly into my consternation because I really believe that LSU did enough to me to be on the number 2 line. I believe it. I believe they did. Now, do I think they are the 5th best team in the country? No. 6th? No. 7th or 8th? Maybe. But I would definitely put them there. And I wouldn't put South Carolina and LSU in the same region. And I would not have put LSU and Iowa in the same region, like Playmaker said, because if it is true what you say, NCAA committee, which I actually have to say, just to show that I'm an unbiased party, you actually did pretty well with the men's bracket. I actually have to say that. You actually did pretty well with the men's bracket. This one, though? Come on, man. Why'd you stack the heavy hitters in the Albany 2 region? So you already know South Carolina's a draw. So they could occupy one region. Iowa, of course, with Caitlin Clark by herself, is another draw. So put them in another region. LSU with either Angel Reese or Kel Mulkey is a draw. You can pick either one, doesn't matter. Put them in a third region, a region that does not have Iowa nor South Carolina, to where you more than likely will have LSU, if they could, because they did last year, run the table, and they could meet in the Final Four, to where they can meet either South Carolina again, or we can have a rematch for the national championship in the Final Four against Iowa. But no. You thought that we have to be fair by the committee, and we believe that LSU is the 10th best team in the country. So the 10th best team in the country deserves to be a third seed in the bracket where the number 2 overall resides. I thought you were about money. I thought you were about making money. You would have had people fawning over the Final Four simply because you would have had the possibility of South Carolina, Iowa, and LSU making it for the second year in a row. That's what you should have done. You missed a golden opportunity. And yeah, I could applaud Texas. Do I think they're going to make it all the way to the Final Four? No. But I really believe that you should have done something of the ilk of probably put LSU in that region. Maybe that region. At least give them a shot to not face South Carolina, because everybody and their mama was saying, we want LSU, South Carolina for a third time this year. Because both the games they played, even though South Carolina won both of them were really close and contentious, especially the second one, which was the SEC Championship. Son, don't you climb from the stands to the floor. And memo to the fool who, when he saw the clip, had the nerve to say, quote, what did that chump do wrong? I mean, all he was doing was trying to protect his sister. Close quote. He jumped his behind on the floor. That's what's wrong with it. And I love the response by one of the people who responded to him. He said, well, if he did nothing wrong, why was he let off the court in handcuffs? That matchup, we're drilling. Now, I'll admit, we still could get that. We still could get that. And we actually still could get that for the national championship game, because if South Carolina and LSU make it to the Final Four, they won't play each other. That is still on the table. Unfortunately, though, your biggest cash cow might not be if LSU does make it. And that's where you screwed the pooch. If you want the big-time matchup, you should have put LSU in one region, Iowa in another region, and South Carolina in another region. Have them be in 3 different regions, and we will all pay attention to each of those regions for that reason. We're going to pay attention to Albany 1 because of South Carolina. We're going to pay attention to Albany 2 because of Iowa. And we should have paid attention to like Portland 3 or 4 because of LSU. But no, you didn't do that. You decided to load Albany 2 up.
Man, make it 4 because we're gonna pay attention to Portland 3 because Juju in that region.
You decided to load that up. Now, there'll be other reasons we have to follow. Obviously, we'll be following USC in the Portland 3. And more than likely, we'll be following Stanford and maybe to a lesser degree Texas in Portland 4. But the biggest draws right now in college basketball in general, but definitely in particular women's college basketball, is Dawn Staley, Caitlin Clark, and Angel Reese. Playmaker, correct me if I'm wrong, sir.
You kill one of your draws in the Elite Eight.
That's what I thought. You should have had LSU be in a region that was not with Iowa nor South Carolina, so you could guarantee that they would be in the Final Four along with the other 2. The team was worth doing it. The only big time stumble they've had really was against USC, not South Carolina. Now I know they had other losses too. I know they lost to start the season. I know that. I understand that.
Colorado, whenever they wake up.
But to me, they did not stumble so bad to where you say, okay, well, they're the number 10 ranked team in the country, and we'll slot them in with Iowa, and then we'll cross our fingers and hope they meet in the Elite Eight. No. To me, they were good enough to where they could be in a region all by themselves, where they could fight whomever, because I think they could defeat anybody. Because really, the only team I've really seen them have really difficulty playing against is South Carolina. Now, yeah, they stubbed their toe against Auburn, but they got them back when they played in Baton Rouge. The point is, like Playmaker said, your cash cows, you messed up. You want to grow your game. You want to grow the women's game. You had the opportunity to have South Carolina, Iowa, and LSU in the Final Four for the second year in a row. But you screwed that up. How dare you have a region with Iowa, UCLA, LSU, Kansas State, and Colorado all in it? And Kansas State, Colorado is your round of 32 matchup. That's your round of 32 matchup in the region. And then you have UCLA and LSU matching them to Sweet 16. And if LSU advances, LSU and I will meet up in the Elite Eight. The national championship game for last year.
Elite Eight.
That's an Elite Eight game this year. I don't think so. That's a Final Four game again. And you know this. You know this, NCAA. You know that is a Final Four matchup. But you're going to have them match up one round sooner. You cheated the fans out of that one. That's all I got to say, NCAA competition committee. You cheated the fans out of the matchup that they wanted. They wanted to see LSU and Iowa meet up national semifinals at worst. At worst. But no, we got to settle for the Elite Eight. Thanks to you.
That's if we can get the Elite Eight, because you mentioned the other 3 teams that's in there: UCLA, Kansas State, and Colorado.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, by the way, We might not get that matchup because Kansas State could match up against Iowa or Colorado could match up against Iowa in the Sweet 16. And I already talked about the possibility of UCLA and LSU in the Sweet 16. So yeah. So there's a possibility we might not see that matchup because you got another one of these strong teams that could knock the other out before they even get to the Elite Eight. Nah. Mm-mm. No, you did us a huge disservice by that.
You really did. Before we take our final break, speaking of Tennessee, they have been in every single women's NCAA tournament.
Take a bow, Lady Volunteers. Wow.
Gotta show credit where credit is due. They've been in every tournament.
All 42. Wow. Now that's a program that reloads.
They're straight struggling after the Pat Summit era. They still make it way. All right. Final break. And when we come back, we will break down. We give you some numbers, break down the tournament by conferences, and give you some reasons why some teams didn't make it. Y'all ain't gonna like it, but if I'm being honest, I got the reasons for it. We'll be back.
Welcome to Ringside Chaos, the professional wrestling discussion segment of the Bear of Texas podcast. The only professional wrestling podcast in the world where pro wrestling is discussed passionately, with confidence, with great knowledge, and most of all, in the most sophisticated way. So brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, because chaos is about to be unleashed. Thing with Tony Khan now being in talks to buy WWE, I'm going to be honest with you. I spoke to this with Ricky Litwinkowicz, aka the Master of Mayhem, and he honestly believes that me talking about Tony Khan buying WWE is basically I'm kind of wasting my time because Ricky believes it's never going to happen. Okay, now don't get me wrong, Ricky, I respect what he says. He could very well be correct, but I got to be honest with you. The fact that Khan is interested in supposedly buying WWE, to me, that's definitely worth talking about. Now, I should mention this. Shout out to Ricky, by the way. And I gotta mention this, that even Jim Cornette already had something to say. And he said, and I quote, "ridiculous to think that could happen," unquote. A wrestling fan that's been super supportive of Brody Lee as a wrestler and everything that WWE could have done with him and, everything that he could have shown and, offered for the wrestling business. For me, I wasn't just a fan of Brody Lee himself, like in character. I strongly respected him, as a human being. Like, I had a lot of respect for Jonathan Huber. That's Mr. Brody Lee's real name. So basically, I had a lot of respect for Brody Lee, Luke Harper, and of course, Mr. Jonathan Huber. Particular episode was about World Class Championship Wrestling. And the episode title is, WCCW Wrestling's Lone Star Legacy. And because I am the Bear of Texas, and I do hail from the Dallas-Fort Worth area of the state of Texas, World Class Championship Wrestling was basically my territory as far as being a wrestling fan goes. Ladies and gentlemen, Ringside Chaos is available on all streaming platforms including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shooting the Lights Out. Shout out to my man Alex, the Bearman Texas. Speaking of wrestling, in less than an hour, I'll be jumping from here to Monster Wrestling.
Oh, you said wrestling. Okay, there we go.
I'll be jumping from here to Monster Wrestling, where me and Cool, we do what we do best, and then we'll be joined by Sensei Drew Whittingham, who is having a blast in the chat right now.
What's up, Drew?
Drew's having a lot of fun right about now.
I'm telling you, you can enjoy yourself with him in Monarchs of Wrestling. You can enjoy it. You can enjoy him. Yeah. This is my experience every Tuesday morning.
And I think Sid has something for you to read.
Oh Lord. Okay. What does Sick want me to read? Does anybody remember when Antonio Davis had to jump in the crowd to protect his family from fans? Oh Lord.
That's more your area than mine.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway,
I do
let's
remember, unfortunately.
let's
But
break down the tournament by conferences, and I'm only doing the major conferences. Okay, so here we go. ACC 13 total teams, 5 in the men, 8 in the women. The Big 12 for the final time, as Cole Johnson is a part of that. 15 teams, 8 men, 7 women. The Big East, 6 teams. Guess what's in parentheses though?
yeah,
It's the same 3 teams.
same 3.
UConn, Creighton, and Marquette. The Big 10, 13 teams, 6 for the men, 7 for the women. The Pac 12, 11 in their final year as a whole conference. 4 for the men, 7 for the women. And then the Southeastern Conference, 16 teams, 8 on both sides.
And it's only going to get more contentious next year.
Yep. All right. Just continue on here. 22 schools get to have double the madness, Cole Johnson. 22.
22.
They get double the madness. And the crazy part is UConn and South Carolina's on it. And UConn is the only team that have a top 3 seed in both. And shout out to South Dakota State, the men and the women. They both won their conference tournament.
Yeah, that is cool. That's cool. Yeah, congrats to South Dakota.
You mentioned
I'm sorry.
it earlier,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Shout out to the Dakotas.
You mentioned it earlier, Cole Johnson, but yeah. Around the 64, these 2 teams face each other in both tournaments.
What?
I don't even know how that happened.
What?
The fact, okay, hold on. Texas A&M, Nebraska on the men's side. All right, cool. Okay, near her. Let's get to the women. And then when the women come out, Texas A&M, Nebraska go at each other. How did y'all pull this off? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the time that y'all been waiting for. Remember I told y'all to make some check marks or whatever type of mark you made about some teams like NC State,
Yes, I do remember
Montana
that.
State, teams like that. Here's the problem. I took the liberty of giving you the big Steelers. And what do I mean by big Steelers? Team that was not in the tournament are in the tournament because they won their conference tournament.
Bid Steelers. I like that.
NC State, ACC, that was a 10 seed. They won 5 games in 5 days.
Yeah, that's that. There, they were straight up bid Steeler.
Now let's really get to it. Montana State, anybody? You know what Montana State's record is? And this is the men's side. Check this out, Cole. Montana State Bobcats, 17-17.
Oh, now that's a tournament team.
17-17.
Man, now that's a tournament worthy team. But yes, they of course got there because they won their conference tournament.
St. Peter's Peacocks, a 19-13 team.
They didn't deserve to be in the tournament. But once again, they are bid Steeler.
I know you wrote HBCUs. Howard Tyson, 18-16.
Howard, that's what I'm talking about. And I hope you can rep hard tomorrow. That's what I'm talking about, Howard. You and Grambling State, yes.
Wagner Seahawks, 16-15.
Well, when you have all these teams still in bids, all you can do is shrug your shoulders on that one.
Grambling Tigers, 24-14.
And they got seasoned.
And the Oregon Ducks, 23-11.
Well, at least they made it to the tournament, though.
So you want to know why a team like Pitt didn't get in? A team like Indiana State didn't get in? and they had a net ranking of 29, the highest net ranking of a team who didn't make the tournament.
I heard that.
A team like St. John's and Rick Pitino, a team like Seton Hall, you know why? Because those 7 teams on the men's side, they all stole business. They weren't even slotted in the tournament. They weren't even bubble teams. Why you have a team like NC State who can win 5 games in 5 days in the ACC tournament?
Mm-hmm.
When you have a 500 team in Montana State Bobcats, this is what happens. And on the women's side, it wasn't really much talk about who didn't get in on the women's side, but that's to be fair, right?
Yeah.
I went through this. So we have the Rice Owls in their first year in the American Conference.
Congratulations, Rice. I love the Lady Owls.
19-14.
That's right. Rep Houston well, baby. Rep it well. H-time!
Presbyterian.
You did better than the Cougs. Lady Cougs. That's what I'm talking about.
Presbyterian, 20-14. But they won the Big South. Drexel Dragons, winners of the Colonial, with a 19-14 record.
Is their breath as hot as the dragon breathing fire? Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to ask that question.
Kent State Golden Flashes, winners of the MAC, 21-10. Portland Pilots, winners of the West Coast. They beat Gonzaga, by the way, 21-12. And those of you who caught me going off before, and this is a school that's probably by you, Mr. Cole Johnson. That would be UT Martin.
Yeah, they're not that far from here. Yeah,
they didn't win the Ohio Valley Conference.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles.
Isn't that messed up? Isn't it messed up? They won their regular season championship, but they sitting on the outside looking at them because they didn't win the tournament.
No, they won. No, UT
no,
Martin didn't win the tournament.
Not UT Martin. I'm talking about Indiana State.
Oh, you're talking about for the men's, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my problem. You know why UT Martin is in the tournament? Cole, I don't know if you've been following, but the Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles won the tournament, and they beat UT Marshall by 30.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad the Southern Indiana women did their thing. They showed and proved that they are the best team in their conference.
Guess what?
What happened?
They fell victim to the reclassification rule.
Well, that's a bunch of bull. I'm sorry.
So this 16-16 team that's right up the road from you got in because of that.
That's a bunch of bull. I'm trying to have my mouth be tame. I'm not one to say these wonderful. I mean these bomb of words. And I know I'm on air, so I
like the background because the background is really what I want to say to the NCAA for this.
Oh, I know. That's why I put it back. That's why I put it up there.
So I'm not gonna go over what I had to say. Let's go back if I need to. I think I posted that clip separately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can go back and hear me go off
Mm-hmm.
because I knew it. I'm like, this team, who by the way, that was like 28 and like 10,
Mm-hmm.
and they won their conference tournament by 30. But the team they beat by 30 can get in because of the freaking reclassification rule from D2 to D1. In their second year, by the way. This is their second year, Cole Johnson, of them being a D1 school. Not the first year. This is their second year. They still can't participate in the NCAA tournament for another 2 years.
Okay. Then it begs the question. Why did they actually invite the team to play in the conference tournament in the first place when they institute this rule upon them that they can't qualify for the tournament, the big tournament? And I thought the silence would be the answer that I was going to receive. This is the backwards thought process that is the NCAA. They pull crap like this, and then they want to justify it by saying, well, we believe all of our athletes deserve a full shot at an education and getting that brass ring when they go on the athletic field of their choice. That's a bunch of hogwash, and you know it.
So yes, a 16-16 team stole the bid from a team that deserved to be in it. because of a stupid rule by the NCAA. The NCAA screwed. I'm not now. Don't get me. I'm not faulting UT Marshall. I'm not faulting them at all.
No, it's not the school's problem. No, it's not the school's fault. No, this is
But
higher up.
this stupid rule is the reason why a team that can win their conference by 30
Read
can't even
it.
showcase themselves.
Read it. That's what I have to say to the NCAA as well. Read it.
They won by 30.
And they can't and they can't rep the conference in the NCAA tournament.
But a 500 school who happened to make it to the championship game is repping the conference. Hawk TV's in the building. What's going on, Hawk TV? And
What's up, Hawk
Dre
TV?
Day's in the building. What's up, Dre?
What's up, Dre?
Oh, I know what Dre Day was. He'd have been going off. He probably would have gave me a little viral moment for the show.
I'm sure he would have, and rightfully so, and rightfully so.
So, all right, real quickly, this is the schedule for the men's first four Tuesday and Wednesday. As you can see here, you got Radnor and Howard at 6:40, and then Colorado State and Virginia at 9:10. Wednesday, you have Grambling and Montana State, and then Colorado State and Boise State. Now, let's notice both the Colorados is in the first four.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Question: they still play these games in Dayton?
Yep,
Okay.
still in Dayton, and still on True TV.
Hmm.
All right, so that's that. And on the ladies' side, they'll begin their first four on Wednesday when you have Presbyterian versus Sacred Heart at 7, followed by, Columbia and Vanderbilt. That should be fun. And then Thursday, you have the UT Martin versus Holy Cross and Auburn versus Arizona. So that's that. Now, before we get out of here,
Singing again now. The Cuervo go.
go.
If I could love me,
Oh,
make tonight a one.
you're up first, so I need you to wrap it up. You up first.
Oh, my bad.
Here is Cole Johnson's Final Four, and he's going to explain why he picked who he picked.
Oh, I'm so sorry. All right. Musa, professionalism call. There we go. All right, so I looked at the men's bracket, and I looked at the West region. I was like, I don't have faith in North Carolina. I think they're gonna get gone somewhere, maybe Sweet 16. And I think Arizona's gonna find a way. They're gonna sniff the fact that the Final Four is in their backyard or close to their backyard, since they play in Tucson and it's in Glendale. They're gonna smell that the Final Four is close in their backyard, and they're gonna make their way through. So I think out the West, Arizona. Out the Midwest, I said the Blue Jays from Creighton. Why? Because I have zero faith in Purdue. They should advance all the way through to the tournament and into the Final Four. I do not have faith in them beyond their big fella. And to me, the game they played against UConn where they lit them up with 14 or 28 threes, I said if they can repeat that type of effort, not necessarily 14, 28 from three, but if they can actually catch fire and feel as though they can't miss, and they can put together about 4 or 5 games like that. So I have Creighton coming out the Midwest. The South, I have Houston. Now, I want to slap Clark Kellogg in the face when he had the audacity to pick Kentucky. Clark, I love you, and I'm saying this with all the love in my heart. So this isn't I really hate you. I love you, guy. I love you, my man. This is more along the lines of basketball hate, meaning why, man, why? But
Kentucky.
read it. That belongs to you, Mr. Kellogg. Kentucky, you saw how poor State played in the SEC tournament. And they were up and down until the later part of the year. They finally got their stuff together in February and they played like a John Calipari team. But this is a John Calipari-led team. Name me one where you were bowled over impressed as of late by John Calipari leading the Kentucky Wildcats. I'll wait. I'm still waiting. That's what I thought. It hasn't happened. So I don't know why you pick Kentucky. Clark, come on, man.
Hey.
So yes, I have. To me, I would have liked for him to pick Marquette more than Kentucky. I would say, okay, I can somewhat see them, although I don't think they will, but I could somewhat see them. But I think it's going to be Houston that's going to make it out the South, and I hope that Houston has a place with the disdain of being in Dallas in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight, and take it on whoever the opponent is, and say we took care of business in a city that didn't deserve us to play in here, and we got out with 2 victories.
So Cole has UConn over Arizona. He has Houston over Marquette, which is sums up the next championship game.
And in the East, I have UConn because to me, there isn't a team in the men's game that comes close to the Huskies. They're going to have to play a game like Creighton to do it, and I don't think any team can do that. So yes, I have UConn advancing to the Final Four and the national championship. Same thing with the Cougs. And as much as I want to go with the Cougs, they're going to be disappointed again and not cut down the nets again. And they will see another team cut down the nets in their history, and this time it will be the defending champs doing so.
It'll be the first time since 06, 07 that a team went back to back.
And that would be Florida. Yeah,
I didn't want to say the team name.
I know.
Just want to throw the facts out there.
I know. Yeah, you want to throw the flags and pop the collar. We knows this, fella.
I mean, so it's good for me to say it because it's been that long and it'll be the last thing to do it.
You just wanted to state the facts. No, you wanted to pop the collar. And the last team that did it.
It's facts though.
It's the team from Gainesville, baby.
It's facts. It's facts. So ain't nobody has defeated champions. Nobody defeated champions like the Florida Gators. Torian Green, Lee Humphrey, Corey Brewer, Al Horford, Joe Canola.
Look, it's fact. It's facts that the Chiefs went back to back in winning Super Bowl championships, where people still think that they won it because of referees and Taylor Swift.
Oh no, there was no question. Florida was the best team in them 2 years. There was no question.
Oh no, I agree. They were. I agree they were, and even though we can't really say that about UConn last year until the tournament, we almost can say that this year about this team though. And look, Purdue had their moment and Houston had their moment, but they just, to me, they haven't had. UConn hadn't had the what the heck was that type of game this year. They haven't.
As y'all see, my Final Four pick: UConn at the East,
what?
North Carolina out the West, Tennessee out of the Midwest, and Houston out of the South.
Tennessee. No. Credit you not going to Purdue too, but Tennessee.
I picked Tennessee.
This is a big Rick Barnes-led team. They're allergic to prosperity.
You may be right, but in all my years watching college basketball, they got a guy that can go for 30 or 40. That means something.
I agree. They got an all-world talent. I agree. And believe me, I know because I actually produced a US Today podcast that spoke on that extolled on the virtues of said player. But again, SEC tournament, quarterfinal, first half, they put up 19 points to Mississippi State. To me, that's just a red flag dripping with blood.
If you want to be honest, their whole regular season is a red flag for damn near everybody except for UConn.
Duly noted and touche.
I gotta pick somebody.
I'm like Tennessee. I gotta
pick somebody.
But to be fair, you. No, I'm not saying this to pick on you. I'm saying this from the. You actually doing that? You actually said the same thing with me when I said Creighton. So yeah, okay.
That said person could be the difference between Houston going to another championship and Tennessee going to another championship, and I think that said person would show up.
Because they actually have that said person on the team. Well, that makes sense.
And
And Houston really doesn't. So yeah.
and to my disdain, to my displeasure, to everything. Uh,
Well,
outside of me loving Molly Karen the way that I do, anything UConn I can't stand. But I peeped on the whole time.
so you mean to tell me you would be disgusted? You're more disgusted with picking UConn over a team that is a rival of the Gators?
Yes.
Wow.
Hey, that said team in Tennessee has never gave Florida real fits that cost us a season.
Okay.
You remember in 20 was it 2011 when they had to go 5 games in 5 days up in Madison Square Garden just to even make the tournament
Yeah,
by winning the Big
I think
East?
it was 2011. Yeah.
Remember they won it that year. Guess what they beat in the Final Four? They beat Florida because of Kimball Walker.
See, you're sounding like cool when we talk about his Eagles winning the Super Bowl and actually getting the lick back on the Patriots. But he says he still hates the Patriots because they still got the one over on the Eagles back in
And then, and then years
2005.
later, and
I'm
then
like,
years later, we met
why?
in the Elite Eight, and they blew us out the freaking gym.
So you okay? So that's where you're disdaining.
And by the way, the
because
fact
they've
and
embarrassed
then the
Florida.
fact that they keep
Okay.
winning national championships in that time period, along with the women, it was just like I'm sick of seeing y'all. I'm really sick of seeing y'all. I can't do nothing about the ladies because the ladies they just own everything at the moment in time.
Yeah, yeah. But we agree on a national champion. Okay.
And Dre, I do not disagree one bit. I
I don't
I
either.
don't mind having either one.
Not not that I hate Molly, but yeah, I
I'll
agree.
take either one. I'll take
Joyce,
either one.
Joe Taylor's easier on the eye, so I agree, brother.
I'll take either one. I'm just saying. And then finally, Cole Johnson, your women's Final Four.
All right. Now, I won't even talk about South Carolina. So I really believe the Lady Huskies is going to come out of Portland 3 region. Just simply because I think when you have a guy like Gino Auriemma who can find a way to push the right buttons with his team, they don't have to be the most uberly talented team, and they can still operate at the highest of levels. I'll get to that point with another team later. The Regional 4, this hurt my heart. I picked the Lady Cardinal over the Lady Longhorns because I really believe, and actually Playmaker said it earlier, you got an experienced coach on the sideline on Stafford, and that to me spells the difference, especially in tournament time. And I just think that is just enough of an edge that gives Stanford over Texas. Although the Lady Longhorns are the number 1 seed in the region, I just don't see it.
But he's rooting hard for you, ladies. He's rooting very hard.
I'm rooting hard for the Lady Longhorns, but if I'm going to be real, the Lady Cardinal, I think they have more of what it takes than the Lady Longhorns do right now. Now in Regional 2 or the Albany 2 region,
or the region of death.
Yeah, or the region of death. Iowa, and I'm pissed. Not I'm picking Iowa.
No,
I'm pissed that I'm not getting a chance to actually pick Iowa, and not saying LSU in another region, or even UCLA in another region, or even Kansas State in another region.
He is forced to make a pick.
Yeah, I'm like, doggone it. You mean to tell me that you want to stack a region like this for no good reason? So yes, Iowa in the Albany 2 region and an Albany 1 region. Should we even talk about South Carolina? And you know what I said about Gino Auriemma's Lady Huskies? That is the Lady Gamecocks all day long, because they don't have a superstar in that team, but I'll be doggone it if Don Staley knows how to get those ladies to play and push those right buttons and get them in the right mindset, no matter if the game's close or they've blown the team out. So yeah, I have in the national championship is going to be the Lady Gamecocks against the Lady Hawkeyes, and to me, Dawn Staley, they're going to run the table. Not only are they going to be national champs, but they're going to be making us proud like those old lady volunteer teams and those the young champion Lady Huskies teams where they would actually go undefeated throughout the season. We're going to see our next undefeated national champion in South Carolina.
Dre's applying to some politicking going on in the committee.
I don't disagree with him. I literally want to say find the line with all of what he's saying because I agree with him. It looks like they want to make that road hard for Caitlin Clark.
And he agreed with you when it comes to Stanford versus Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Experience wins the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
All right, and finally, my final four. You man, if y'all pay attention to shooting lights out this year, you know who I'm picking to come out of the Region 1. Like, there's no surprise in that.
I smell a hard pick right here. But go ahead.
Region 2, LSU.
Oh, I smell a hard pick right here.
Now, if
I smell a hard pick.
You know what swayed me to LSU's way?
What's
not
waiting?
the fact that they lost the SEC championship game, it what took place in the SEC championship game. What you brought up earlier. Yeah, I think that gave LSU the motivation they needed.
I think to bolster your point, I think that would be something that will give them motivation beyond any other team in the tournament, because South Carolina doesn't have any other motivation other than to not lose, but and to actually not play under their capabilities, because every team, they should think every team is not on their level, but they got to respect them as if they are. And to me, LSU, I know, feels disrespected by the Lady Gamecocks. So yeah, I agree with you. I think they'll play with the fire that no other team will play. The only reason why I picked Iowa over them is I believe.
I get your point, because Kaden Clark, if Kaden Clark sees LSU in the Elite Eight, it's like, okay, you got me in the championship game. I want my payback.
Right. I believe it's sort of like that Jordan against the Pistons motivation that Caitlin Clark would have.
At the same time, for your national championship game, that's what Don Staley. Y'all know this lady is the reason why y'all didn't win it last year. She's the reason why y'all didn't win it last year. You know that, right? Now she's here and she's standing our way again on the mountaintop. Mm-hmm. But here's my point: if what took place in Greenville didn't happen, and it was just a regular loss for LSU. I might have would have won Iowa, but the fact that what took place in Greenville, woohoo!
I actually can't be mad at you.
And how passionate Angel Reese was at that press conference. They got their mojo now. They finna come in. Oh, we ain't playing now.
Now here's why I wanted to pimp slap Kim Mulkey. Why you had to say why don't that girl push a 6'8" girl like an Angel Reese? Instead of pushing 1.5'10", I wanted to pimp slap Kim Mulkey for saying that in the post-game press conference.
Oh, it'd have been.
It would have been a fight for real. But I'm like, no. Be like your opposing coach and show class. Actually go up to the offended LSU player and say, "I'm sorry, baby. That shouldn't have happened. I'm gonna get on my charges. And we're gonna act better." Do that. That's why John Say is my favorite coach in college basketball. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Something that he's talking about is Region 3. When I picked the USC Trojans to come out of there. When I look at the region, I'm like, who's going to knock them off? Virginia Tech, they beating up. Ohio State, they're going to have the edge, but is that edge going to stay after they play UConn? Or will UConn edge stay after they play Ohio State?
This is what messed me up with that one. USC to me has the talent in that region. Like it was like the pick with Stanford in Texas for me. The experience.
Oh, I got a simple reason for that for picking Stanford.
It's experience for me.
You ain't gonna like it, but you most likely you probably respect it. And I picked Stanford to come out of the region for you know what? Who got the one seed in that region?
Oh, Texas.
Who felt like they should have been the one seed?
Stanford. I'm not upset with that. That's how they should feel. You are our region, and you're number one in it. That's how they should feel. And that should give them extra motivation to beat Texas. I agree with you there.
Y'all the number one team in Portland, and we the number two. Okay.
I agree with you there.
And the funny thing is, when they did it side by side. And I was saying like, who's the last number one? I say it's gonna be Texas, ain't it? Texas Longhorns.
I remember you saying that.
Boy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, but for all the bellyaching with the region, the Albany 2 region, the Portland 4 region, they got it right with the Elite Eight.
I ain't mad at it. I'm just saying. If you notice, my 4 teams that I picked, they have a motivation outside of just basically winning the championship game. Until why they
what I was saying,
USC ain't even been here in a very long time.
See, this was my consternation about picking USC. I was like, they got the talent. There's no question about that. They got and ooh man, that talent's going to be even better next year and the year after.
Thing, though.
But it's just to me,
you know what's the
Gino Auriemma. It's like it's hard for me to pick against him.
But you know what's the turning point for me is how they won the Pac-12. Juju had a bad game,
and they still won. Yeah. Which does bode well for a team that is on a run like that. If the others can rise their level of play when their best player doesn't bring it, yeah, I agree with you.
I said, if the other step up and Juju had a bad game, and you can beat Stanford, who everybody knows is the number one team in the West Coast, that says a lot. Even though I don't like USC, but I gotta give props to you.
Oh, I feel you. It's just that for me,
I get it. It's Gino. I get it.
I put Gino up there like with
I understand.
I put Gino up there like with the Greg Popovich. He's that. Gino to me strikes me as that type of coach.
If he gets in, watch out.
Right, he gets in, watch out, and it's like your best player. We're gonna make sure she works hard to get her points, and we're gonna make sure the others don't. And UConn may not have as much talent as USC, but man, if you have that experience and that belief, and the prodding system that Auriemma seems to have, that's hard to beat. But yeah, I can't hate on you picking USC, but that's why I didn't, because I'm like, it's Gino.
I get it.
But we agreed again on the women's national champion because I don't see any team that's better than South Carolina. Even when he's not even more motivated LSU.
Even people on ESPN. Who was the biggest threat to South Carolina? South Carolina.
LSU. And South Carolina is. They basically have to play a bad game.
Like if you're gonna beat South Carolina, South Carolina helps you.
Yeah, right. And by the way, they played a bad game in the SEC tournament against Tennessee, and they eked it out. So you have that.
How you beat South Carolina? If South Carolina help you, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty the same thing with the men's. How do you beat UConn? If UConn help you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to help you. Yeah, you're gonna have to not defend. That's the only way I could see them losing. Yeah.
So that's the breakdown. Hope y'all enjoyed this 2-hour plus show that me and Cole gave, breaking down everything from the men's and the women's. And before we sign off and I get ready to go to another show to talk wrestling, Cole Johnson, the floor is yours.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, since I know you have to head on out, I'll make this real quick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed March Madness. The men's game is going to be good, but the women's game is going to be great. And I'm looking forward to when we get to Cleveland. And I am hoping this is going to be the last year they decide to put this game, the Final Four with the women, in arenas. Because it's now time that you put this game in stadiums. If the Big Ten Championship didn't prove it to you, or the Big Ten Tournament didn't prove it to you, I don't know what does or will. And heck, you can throw in the SEC championship too, tournament. So I'm looking forward to what we see, and then we get a chance to see the national champion and the women crowned on April 7th, and the men's championship champion crowned on April 8th. Again, I see it being South Carolina on that Sunday, and I see it being UConn on Monday, and I guess my brother agrees with me too, because that's who he picked as well. But I'm going to enjoy all of these games, and I hope you enjoy it along with us. Now, if you want to find me, you can go on to host Cole Johnson. Floco.com/page/host Cole Johnson. That is Floco.com/page/host Cole Johnson. And if you can do me a solid, please do me a solid. Tune in, please, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, on the BS3 Network or BS3 Network's YouTube channel or the Queen 3 King Podcast YouTube channel. I will make a guest appearance submitting while struggling. That is March 26th, not tomorrow, but next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, on the BS3 YouTube channel or the Queen 3 King Podcast YouTube channel or on Roku TV if you stream live on BS3. And I will make a big time announcement. I will have a special announcement at the end of my guest appearance. So Queen 3 King, I'm a guest submitting while struggling, and there's going to be a big time announcement at the end of that appearance, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, next Tuesday. Hope you make it. Playmaker, floor is yours.
All right, people. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Shout out to Wise. Shout out to Drew, Dre Day, Snowman, Sensei Drew, Sid Diggy.
What's up, guys?
Hawk TV. Thank y'all for tuning in and staying in with us as we broke this down. I know it was a lot to go through, and we managed to get through it. So I want to thank y'all for being a part of this. And wanted to go ahead and make this announcement because if you catch the last episode, you know that this program, Shooting Nights Out, along with 2 other shows under the Playmakers Bar, have now hit the radio wave. Okay,
go ahead, man. Congratulations.
So we doing some big things here. Shout out to my man Cool McCain for getting that avenue for me that we can be on the radio. It is fun. Trying to remember 502 American Angel Radio Station. You will hear this episode on Friday from 9 a.m. to 10. So be prepared for that. If you missed it or you missed some information or you want to make sure we'll be on the radio station. 502 American Angel, Fridays, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. So I'm thankful for that. Outside of that, it is March. The madness is here. The tournaments are set. By the way, if you haven't done so, we have the group ready for the men's bracket and the women's bracket. Okay, so links has been put all over social media. I'll put them in the YouTube channel. We are ready to rock and roll. All right. Other than that, enjoy the rest of the week because after Wednesday, your boy going on vacation. So you might not hear from me from the rest of the week. You hear from me, most likely you probably hear from me next week. So give a shout out to my sister. She's getting ready to turn 40, and I'm going to help her turn 40 down in Orlando, okay?
Turn it up, sis. Turn it up.
So with that being
celebrate 40 is a good thing, sis. Turn it up.
So with that being said, that is the EP of all EPs, Mr. Cole Johnson. I'm the Playmaker. Enjoy March Madness. Catch y'all later.
See you.
You've done great. But you can't stop here. You can't stop now. You gotta keep going. Through all your trials and your tribulations, you gotta keep pushing. Now, finish your canvas.
Yeah, gotta get it out the mud, that's the only way to win. Who am I to point the finger like I never ever seen? Been through the ups and downs like the letter N. They don't let you through the door, better kick that again. Cause that's the only way to win. That's the only way to go. Gotta get it out the mud. Gotta get it out the flow. Cause that's the only way to go. Let's go.
Thank you for tuning in today's episode.
If you want to follow the podcast, you can follow it on all streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and a whole lot more. This has been Shooting Lights Out.